This is the LBC Morning News with Lisa Aziz.
Time now, 10:07. The Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, said he's not happy with UK police or security services operating a shoot-to-kill policy in the event of a terror attack. He says such an approach could often be counterproductive. He also declined to answer in an interview what he called the hypothetical question of whether he would ever back military intervention against extremists, stressing the need for a political resolution to be found in Syria instead. And he criticised cuts to police budgets. Joining us now, Roger Gray is a former firearms officer, and also Joseph Kotrie Monson is from Kotrie Monson Solicitors, who specialise in serious criminal cases. Good morning to you both. Roger Gray, let me come to you firstly, because having a shoot-to-kill policy would surely fill the public with dread, along with Jeremy Corbyn. Wasn't he right to have deep reservations about it?
Well, no, he wasn't. I'm going to agree with him about the police cuts, because in the face of what we have here, that's going to cause, great difficulty. The sale of Scotland Yard, well, there we go. But shoot-to-kill policy, we are facing people who are intent upon murderous activity. They want to, take the lives of innocents on the streets of London. There are not really too many options when you're dealing with someone who's not only murderous, but is also suicidal. You don't really get a great deal of choices. The sort of soft and woolly approach to this, it's all right to start thinking about those kind of things in the civil police role generally, and that has been the case up until now. Lethal force is not applied until the very, very last moment. When you're talking about terrorists, when you're talking about someone with a movement of their finger that can destroy a huge number of lives, or with an automatic weapon, you can't have these kind of niceties, I'm afraid.
Joseph, let's get a response then from Joseph Kotrie Monson. Roger, is Jeremy Corbyn perhaps being way too naive because in exceptional circumstances the police have to protect us with whatever means possible?
Well, Lisa, I suppose the question is, what is actually Jeremy Corbyn talking about? The phrase shoot to kill is probably not what we're talking about here. The legal position has always been clear. If you or another person are in danger, whether you're a police officer or not, Lisa, you're entitled to prevent that danger. It must be proportionate. That's our law of self-defence. There's nothing wrong with it. It works. It's what the police already use. I'm sure Jeremy Corbyn agrees with that. The phrase shoot to kill, however, here is misleading because it brings up images of young men and young women in Northern Ireland being shot almost indiscriminately in the street. And that's what Jeremy Corbyn's probably talking about here. There's no question that did more damage than good during the Troubles in Northern Ireland. The Met Police, of course, Lisa, did bring in Operation Krakos after the London bombings. As usual, a fairly juvenile and dramatic sounding name. Krakos means the demigod of shock and awe. Who on earth thinks of this stuff? This was a policy which was aimed specifically at suicide bombers and relatively intelligent. We can shoot you if we think that you're going to blow us up or others. I certainly agree with that. I don't think anyone else would disagree. But what Operation Krakos actually turned out to be was a synonym for the botched shooting of Jean-Charles de Menezes and subsequent attempted cover-up of the truth of his death by the Met. And scandalously, the police officer in charge, Cressida Dick, apparently allowed her radio message a few minutes before his death, his wrongful death, that he was not a danger to be deleted from police records.
Let's go back to Roger then on that. Recent history, as we know, Roger, littered with shoot-to-kill incidents that have gone catastrophically wrong.
Well, I wouldn't have said that it was littered with. The whole issue, if we're going to go back to Stockwell, is one which is too large for us to discuss here. I could go into this in greater detail, but that's not what we're talking about. Doing retrospect at the moment, wisdom of hindsight is fine. But, we have to look at what's happened in the most recent history. We are not as much at danger in this country of that kind of an outbreak because we've got that wonderful channel of water around us to help us protect and filter things through our ports. But nevertheless, if we're presented with it, we have to use whatever lethal force is required in the face of what is, massive lethal force in opposition. So in a way, with your other speaker here, I'm in agreement in many areas, but I think it's unhelpful to start bringing other things into the arena at this point in time. We must be clear-headed and must have a clear view of what we're going to do should this terrible sort of things occur on our shores.
And I wish we could debate it for longer. Gentlemen, thank you. Roger Gray there, a former firearms officer, and also joining Roger, Joseph Kotrie Monson from Mary Monson Solicitors, who are based on Fleet Street in central London.